You went looking for ChatGPT Agent Mode, and you couldn't find it when you tag it or you search for it in ChatGPT Chat. Instead, you find this Chat tab and a Work tab. Maybe you already knew the old way. You used to type /agent, and then you prompt it accordingly and run a task. But when you try that today, nothing happens. Here's why. ChatGPT Agent is no longer available. OpenAI says you should use ChatGPT Work now for longer multi-step tasks and finished deliverables. But what is ChatGPT Work? How is it different from a normal chat? How do you actually turn it on? And what's it good for? Otherwise, why should you use ChatGPT Work? I tested it out on my own accounts to find out why. And this even included one test where I closed my laptop completely and it still kept going. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Cian and I'm the AI Productivity Coach. And I've taught thousands of people how to use AI to make their work and life way easier. So if that sounds like you, please make sure to subscribe and join me on this journey. ChatGPT Work launched in July 2026. And at the time of recording, it runs on OpenAI's latest models, GPT 5.6. ChatGPT Work is basically an agent. You give it a desired outcome that you want, not just a question. It gathers information from around your connected apps, breaks the job into steps, and works through them on its own. Sometimes this could be for hours. What you usually get back isn't just a chat reply. ChatGPT Work is built to research, analyze, and come back with a deliverable for you. So this could be a document, spreadsheet, presentation, or whatever you might need. It can also just work through a research question without producing a specific output, but it's able to take those multiple steps throughout the process. Here's the bit that's confusing a lot of people right now. Agent mode hasn't just been deprecated, it's completely gone. OpenAI's own page says so. So if you came to this video looking for ChatGPT Agent Mode, just know that now it's called ChatGPT Work. Work is its official successor that is built for longer projects. So how does it differ from a regular chat? The simplest way to put it, the regular chat answers you and Work does the thing. And here are 3 practical differences between the two. Work is specifically built for longer multi-step tasks that require deliverables at the end of it. Some complex tasks can take hours, and that's why you should use Work for it. Work can also keep working in OpenAI's cloud browser. You could basically use a remote browser when a connected app can't run by itself. Finally, for Work, instead of steering it through the task with every single conversation or prompt, you can give it a broad outcome, review its progress, and check back in on the outcome when it's done. So why would you use ChatGPT Work? As I said, use chat when you want a quick answer. You should use Work when the job has specific things like multiple steps, multiple sources, and potentially multiple files at the end of it. For example, it could be research that ends in a comparison, an audit that ends in a spreadsheet, or a pile of documents that need to become a specific brief. Here's the test that I would use. If the task would take you 30 minutes of opening tabs, copying and pasting into different documents and spreadsheets, that's the job for ChatGPT Work. If you just want to know something, stay in chat. So how do you use ChatGPT Work and how do you switch it on? This is where some people get stuck, so let's be precise. On web and mobile, there's basically a switcher at the top of the page. So you can see chat and work. And basically to access ChatGPT Work, you just need to switch to this tab and there it is. There's no setting to enable it. On the desktop, it's kind of similar as well. You see the chat and the work interface. If you're not seeing it on the desktop app, you may need to refresh your app so it shows up. There are 2 questions I keep seeing. Can I get it on the free plan? On the web and mobile, unfortunately, no. But on OpenAI's pricing page, it does say on the desktop app that there is limited access to ChatGPT Work. You can see that here. And then from the Plus plan and above, you have access to ChatGPT Work on desktop, web, and mobile. Another question I get asked is, why can't I see it? The rollout went out in waves. By the time you watch this video, likely it should be in everyone's plan. But if not, you may be on the desktop app and you may not have updated the app, as I just said. So you'll just need to update that app and it should show up. One last tip in terms of getting it set up. If you have other apps that you use and you want to connect them, I highly recommend doing that in here in the plugin section. You can basically search for whatever plugins you want or connect new ones. ChatGPT has a list of all the plugins that you can add to ChatGPT Work, and this definitely makes ChatGPT Work way better. Just be clear on what permissions you give it. So with all these apps, you can give it a certain level of permissions. Most of them have these different options where it's always ask, or allow read actions, allow low risk actions, or allow all actions. And you can see there are certain warnings depending on the level of actions you give it. Just be sure that you're okay, depending on the app, what permissions you want to give it. Now, you don't strictly need these other apps. Without any apps connected, it can still access the web, files you upload, and project context. But it is helpful for getting the latest from these apps as you work, and so that it comes into ChatGPT and it's part of the workflow rather than, again, having to copy and paste. So what is ChatGPT Work actually good at? So I've ran a few different tests and prompts and different use cases, and I just want to share some of them so you get an idea of how you can maybe apply it to what you do. So the first one I did was buying decisions. I think this is something that we all come up against both in our personal and professional lives. ChatGPT Work is a really good tool for actually going, searching the web, searching different websites, seeing what's out there, doing the analysis and analyzing what's best depending on the criteria you give it, and it can then create a document, an Excel or a Word doc on the outcome and its recommendation. So really helpful for doing all 3 steps of that process. So for the sake of the example, I just talked about getting new running shoes. Let's say you're doing a park run. You just want to do an analysis on what size you are, your budget, where you're living, all those kind of things. So basically give as much detail as you can in the prompt so that ChatGPT Work has a strong brief and knows what outcome you're looking for. If you want to improve your prompt, I would say first create it in ChatGPT Chat. Make sure it's optimized before you put it into Work, as Work can take a bit of a while. So I did run this prompt a bit before, and it took 2 minutes 30, as you can see here. And it's basically gone and analyzed the different running shoes that might be relevant and given me a recommendation. And you can see it shows all the different references that it's gone into. So it's been really in depth with that research. And it's also telling me exactly the price that it would cost for all these shoes, including delivery. So it's gone onto the website to check the price, even check the delivery fees, which is really helpful rather than me having to go to all these sites and find out for myself. I actually think the understanding the delivery fee is a really great part of ChatGPT Work. So they're making a good decision rather than kind of just guessing based on the prices that you might see in a regular chat. Now, that's obviously a simple running shoes example, but if you're making a purchase that is even bigger, maybe it's a car you want to buy, this is a really good tool to use. So the second use case is audits. Now, I know audits aren't the sexiest thing, but it's great when you can use a tool like ChatGPT Work to take that grunt work off your plate. So basically the audit I'm going to run is just one on any subscriptions I have. And what I wanted to do is build a spreadsheet with the tool name, the plan, how much it's costing me, basically calculate the totals. I've told it, because it's going into my emails, do not reply, forward, archive any, or delete any email. This could also be something depending on your permissions that you already have set up. And then when you're done, I just want a spreadsheet complete with the totals calculated. So you can see here, it has a spreadsheet delivered for me. It took 5 minutes, 23 seconds. And it even tells me what it's done. So I'm using Gmail and spreadsheet workflows for a read-only billing audit, found all the emails that it needed, and I basically populated a complete workbook to show what I'm doing. Now, I'm not going to go into all my subscriptions, but you can see here, it's created the Excel. I can click into that and it will have the full report. And it's even given a key result of, I've blurred out this number, but tells me how much I'm being charged. And it's also flagged ones that it's unsure of. So basically it's gone into my emails, find all these emails, created an Excel with all these numbers. I'm able to make a quick decision from the Excel without having to pull it all manually myself. And that ran for 5 minutes without me having to do anything. I can just go away, work on something else or grab a coffee. And when I come back, I basically have the Excel sheet and I can then go on and continue with my decisions from there. Similarly, you can think of other audits that you might want to do. Let's say you have a business, you've got loads of products on your website and want to see what people are saying about those products. Or if you want to do a competitor analysis based on different threads online, maybe what people are saying about on social media. This is a good case where you can basically tell ChatGPT Work to go away, research a certain topic, come back, analyze it, and then produce an output that's easily digestible for you. The third use case is multi-app work. So this is one where your plugins and connectors really come into play. As I said, with some of these plugins, you have to decide what permissions you give it. And also bear in mind that not all plugins have the same permissions, so you might not be able to do as much with some as you would with others. So basically for this one, I've asked it to pull my YouTube performance for the last 180 days. Just want to understand some of my best performing videos. It's going to go into my vidIQ, which basically has my YouTube data, and then go on to my Notion and Google Drive and understand what the content is and how I'm planning it. And so for this one, I'm just going to leave it. It's running in the background, as you can see there. I'm going to close my laptop. I approve the plan. I'm just going to leave it be. The best CTR videos, it's gone into all my data and pulled that out. Showed the lowest CTR ones. So these are ones that didn't resonate as well. And then it's giving me some suggestions. So it's basically gone into the data, analyzed it from different apps, looked at my Google Drive, looked at my Notion, and basically from all of that formed a recommendation. 2 reasons why I can close my laptop and go away. And this is one of the really good benefits of ChatGPT Work. First, on the web version, this runs on OpenAI's cloud. So it doesn't need my computer to stay open at all times. You may have seen some of these funny memes or pictures online of people who are walking to bathrooms with their laptops open. And basically, they just wanted to keep their Claude Code or Claude Code sessions running. Second, it's browser based. So you don't actually need a local folder set up like you would in some of the other tools. And you don't necessarily need a desktop app. I can just point out the apps I've connected it to and go. So they were 3 quick use cases. I mean, there's probably plenty of ideas going in your head right now. Let me know in the comments what you actually would think about using ChatGPT Work for, or what you are using it for. I'm always interested. But what are the honest limitations with ChatGPT Work? Number one, it's a bit slow to run compared to a regular chat. My recommendation is to let it run in the background, but in order to do that, you need to be very clear with your prompts up front, so it's definitely doing the right work that you want it to do. So I'd spend a bit of time on the prompt initially, so then you can go off and do something else without worrying that it's doing the wrong thing. Another limitation is that sometimes the live data goes a bit stale, so just verify any of the numbers as well. But that is pretty much the same for all AI tools. I recommend you verify the information. Finally, the last one is that it does get a bit clunky with sign-ins and CAPTCHA. These may block a task if you've let it to run. So just understand the steps in the process and whether you might come across that. Same thing applies for plugins. If it doesn't have the right access, it might stop or fail if you run it on a long task. So again, just be very clear about what the tasks are going to be and that your system is set up to actually do that. One feature that's also worth mentioning is that ChatGPT Work can also run on a schedule, or it can watch for a change and trigger. And this goes through something called scheduled tasks. And you can basically find that going into scheduled, and then you'll see the two tabs up here. It's a slightly different way of getting there, but it's worth knowing that it exists. This offers many more use cases. Perhaps you have to run a weekly report, or you need to do a certain amount of research every week. And this also adds to how useful ChatGPT Work can be. There are definitely a lot of pros, and it does seem like the next level in terms of using AI in work. From chatting to a lot of people with tools like this, and they seem to be really impressed by what it does, and it has been changing a lot of different roles, especially with the people that I'm talking to. Some of the benefits are that scheduled tasks element, as well as connecting to apps with live data and actually being able to finish a task or create a deliverable when you ask it to. The one caveat I'd say is that it's not perfect, and you definitely have to check the output. What I recommend you do from here is start with one task that you do. Maybe it's something you do every week. Spend about 15 minutes just thinking through the prompt and what you actually want it to do and deliver, and just see if it does a good job. So all these things you need to try, experiment, and see if it works for you, but don't overcomplicate it too much at the start. Just figure out one task that might be helpful for you to use ChatGPT Work for. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I also have a weekly AI productivity newsletter, and you can subscribe using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.